Hi, my name is Siarra. I deal with bipolar type 2 disorder. I've been watching some YouTube videos about bipolar, and one thing keeps popping up, that bipolar 1 is worse than bipolar 2. I think it's silly to try and say that one is worse than the other, when they're both extremely hard to deal with, hard to live with, hard to control, and dangerous if not managed. I'm going to talk a little bit about bipolar 2 because that's the one I know. That's the one I have. But I'll give you the brief of what everyone else says about bipolar 1. Bipolar 1, it is said that they have full-blown mania with deep depressions. Okay. Type 2 deals with hypomania and major depressions. Bipolar is not curable. It is manageable, but not curable. And no, a change of diet isn't going to fix it all, or else I would not be dealing with bipolar 2 disorder. And people who have bipolar disorder really should be medicated. And this is me saying it, and I hate meds. But I'm better on them. I know I am. I may hate that fact, but I am. So to tell you about what I go through. Let's see here. I'll start with the hypomanic episodes. Hypomania in the very beginning stages is fun, exhilarating. You feel like you're on top of the world, that you can do anything, and you're happy all the time, and just people can mistake you as being outgoing or life of the party or just party girl in general. But that usually isn't the case. That's just the hypomanic state that that person is in. So after the beginning stages comes the problem area. Yeah. What happens with me is I get racing thoughts. I get very irritable. Small things can piss me off. And my thoughts are rapid. And I can't focus. And it's hard for me to sleep. It's hard for me to collect my thoughts in an organized manner so I can express to you what they are. Right now I'm not hypomanic, or else this would make no sense at all. But it can get really bad. You can get so irritable that every little thing you can take it the wrong way and get all upset and pissed off. And then you start pushing people away. Now, I push people away because I know it's not their fault that I'm getting pissed off. That is just me being bipolar. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't have a reason to be upset or pissed off. I'm just saying that I know I'm blowing it out of proportion. And I don't want to take it out on anybody. So I just push everybody away. Can't take it out on anybody if there's nobody to take it out on. This is not a good idea. Because then you start feeling like you're alone. Like you got no friends. And you start wondering why you have no friends. And you're not thinking quite right at that time. You're thinking that there's something wrong with you. Like, because you have bipolar, nobody wants to be near you. And that's not necessarily the case. I'm not saying that it's not the case sometimes, because sometimes it is. Sometimes you get those shallow people who don't understand bipolar and are afraid of it. and so they will just leave. You don't want those people in your life anyways. You want the people who are going to be understanding and forgiving and look to educate themselves on bipolar. I am lucky enough to have a few of those friends. And I'm lucky enough to have my mom and my sister who are understanding and highly forgiving. I probably wouldn't make it without them. I felt bad. I feel bad because this last bout of depression I was in, it was a really bad one. But I ended up avoiding everyone as best as possible, including my own sister. That makes me feel awful. But she forgives me. She was never mad at me for it. She understood that I was depressed, and she just wanted to figure out how to help me. I was more annoyed with her because she kept hounding me to go see somebody, but that's exactly what I needed. I needed someone to push me to go get help. Finally, I got some help. Ended up in a mental facility to get the help, but I got my help. Honestly, it was the best experience I've had when I'm depressed. And it taught me a lot. It taught me some new coping skills and how to just walk away when you are upset. Not push away people, just walk away for a little bit and just take a breather and think about things. If you are majorly depressed, I strongly urge you to get some help. Whether that just be go see a counselor or admit yourself into a mental facility. I voluntarily went in. I was not forced in. But I knew I needed help, and more than what a counselor could give me. So, I went in. I'm glad I did. I'm really glad I did. I am not perfect by any means. I'm still fighting to feel normal again. And I know. Normal. What's normal anymore, right? Yeah. Well, normal for me. How about that? Normal for me is smiling and laughing and having a good time. Being able to focus on things. Being able to tell people about what's going on with me. I'm getting there. As you can see, I'm making this video and telling you all about where I'm at right now. I'm taking better care of myself now. I'm able to handle things better now, like my bills in the house. So things are definitely improving, and I'm glad. When I was there, they asked me a silly question. If I had a plan to kill myself. I know a lot of people say that's not a silly question, but for me, it is a silly question. I told them 4 years ago I had a suicidal tendency, and I reached out for some help. The first person I reached out to was a friend, or at least I thought he was. I told him that I had thoughts of suicide, and he basically told me to just go ahead and do it then. That's the worst thing you can tell anybody who tells you that they're suicidal. Now, I think he believed that I was just seeking attention, and that he thought it was best not to give me that attention. I'll tell you, I wasn't seeking attention. I was trying to get some help. I just didn't know who to go to. After he told me that, I hung up on him, and I just started crying. I didn't know where else to go to get the help I needed, that I knew I needed. And I called the one person I didn't want to call. Nobody wants to tell their own parent that they're suicidal. I ended up calling my mom and telling her that. Well, shortly after that, I ended up moving to my mom's for 2 months, and I got better on my own that time with her help, but I don't suggest that. I suggest actually going in and seeing a counselor when you're feeling like that, or a psychiatrist, because more often than not, you're going to need some more help than what a family member can give you or a friend can give you. Besides, they're better equipped to help than a family member or friend. Now, if you got a friend who's telling you you're suicidal, please don't tell them to just do it. You need to take it seriously, and you need to listen to them. You need to give them reasons to not do it, and you need to get them to some help. They're reaching out because they don't know where else to go. And if you are depressed, I'm telling you, go see your local counselor. That's what they're there for. There's also the suicide hotline you can call. They are also there to help. Don't feel ashamed for being depressed. If you're depressed, it means you've been going through far too much and not knowing how to deal with it. That's not something to be ashamed of. That's just something to get some help with. And if you're a friend of a bipolar person, don't give up on them. That's the worst thing anyone can do, especially to someone with bipolar. They feel everything so much more than normal. Their feelings are magnified. So, if it's detrimental to your health, then I just suggest telling them to go see someone to help them with it, and separating yourself as much as you can without letting them feel like they're all alone. I know that sounds difficult, and it can be. I'm sure of it. Just know that people with bipolar, if they could run from their issues, their moods, they would. They would love to be able to run away from them and never see them again. They didn't choose to be bipolar. They didn't ask to have mood issues. They do. Can they control it? To a point, yes. With medication, even better. Will they always have issues, though? Yes. I will always have a mood issue. Always. It's like somebody who's diabetic is always going to be diabetic. It's not curable, but it is manageable. I think that's all I'm going to say today.